Hakadosh, Boker Or, Bekiim Bahalacha 4, day 8, Siman 25. This is going to be page 21, Halacha Vav. If someone right now places the pouch of his tefillin inside the kuracha, some of the tefillin bag, right, of his talit, he must take care not to place the tefillin in front of the talit, because if he does so, he's going to be liable to touch the tefillin before he takes out the talit. And therefore, according to Shulchan Aruch, if someone touches the tefillin first, he must put on the tefillin before the talit. It is forbidden to let go of the tefillin and put on the talit in this case, because the rule of ema v'yimina mitzvot, it is forbidden to pass up on the mitzvah that has come to your hands, which means like this. If you remember, we already learned that by tefillin in itself, it's different. Tefillin shel yad, tefillin shel rosh, you always have to put on the tefillin shel yad before the rosh. The reason why is because it always says, vayudlo benecha, right? The kol zman shebenecha yushtaim, meaning as long as they're going to be between your eyes, you always need two tefillin. So therefore, you can never put on the rosh before the yad, because if you put on the rosh before the yad, you only have one tefillin. So you always have to put on the yad before the rosh. So even if you did mistakenly take out the shel rosh before the yad, you put on the yad and you put on the rosh. Talit and tefillin, even though we brought down, there was a machloket rishonim, why do you put the talit first? Whether it was because ki'ilu, the talit is a higher level, because ki'ilu, that you remember all the mitzvot because of the talit, or according to the way the Shulchan Aruch learns, not like the Mukei Yosef and others, it was because of that we were going malim b'kedusha. Malim b'kedusha means the kedusha, tefillin is a higher kedusha than talit, so you go upwards, you put on talit and then you put on tefillin. According to the halacha, though, not the Kabbalah, according to the halacha, if you took out the tefillin before the talit, you do have to put on the tefillin first, because ema v'dina mitzvot. Ema v'dina mitzvot means if you have a mitzvah that comes to your hand, don't pass over it to do another mitzvah. That's, by the way, the reason, if you remember, that we brought down the Ramah, his seder plate is in that order, a different order than that Arizal HaKadosh, because of ema v'dina mitzvot. The same thing, you don't want to be over on mitzvot. You don't want to pass by a mitzvah. If you already have it in your hand, do it. So here, the same thing. So therefore, he comes and he says, be very careful when you're putting your talit and the tefillin in the bag, that you always come first to the talit and then the tefillin, right? Always, right? So sometimes it happens for me, right? I actually have it on top, where there's over there. So it's on top. So therefore, I come and I put it. But for example, some people, if they're going, let's say I put it in the same bag. So if it's going to be in the same bag, I have to be very, very careful how to do it, right? In a certain sense. Okay? So now page 22 says right now, according to many Kabbalists, however, even in this case, the person still must put aside the tefillin and put on the talit first, since it is crucial to put on the talit before the tefillin, as explained above in the previous halacha. Nevertheless, the Shulchan Aruch must be followed, and in this case, a person must put on the tefillin and then his talit. Meaning, even though al-pi Kabbalah, there are mekubalim that say, no, you have to do the other way around. No, here you have to put on the talit and then the tefillin, right? Look in number 7. After Maran the Bet Yosef established the fact that one is supposed to put on the talit before tefillin, he added that one must be very careful to place the tefillin in front of the talit and the kuracha, so one will not touch the tefillin first, right, and make it necessary to put on the tefillin before the talit in order to avoid infringing the rule of Ein Mavidim. So Maran added that regarding the tefillin itself, right? If someone took hold of the tefillin shel rosh before the tefillin shel yad, he must put aside the tefillin he still should put on the tefillin shel yad first, as explained in Siman 28. This is because the Torah specifically instructs the person to put on the tefillin shel yad first, but it says, right? The pronoun says they, signifies as long as one wears tefillin shel rosh, he has to have both of them there. This Torah instruction overrules the principle of Ema V'Ima Mitzvot, which was instituted by the Chachamim. Regarding the talit and tefillin, however, there's no specific demand about one putting on before the other. So therefore, we put on the talit first, because some poskim suggest that that's a preferable order. We must not transgress Ema V'Ima Mitzvot. The Kabbalists, however, they wanted to say, no, that you have to put on the talit first, ignoring the rule of Ema V'Ima Mitzvot. This is also the ruling of Ben Ish Chai and the Kav HaChaim, but again, you have Shulchan Aruch, so therefore you have to go like the Shulchan Aruch. Right? In practice, right? The responsible of Pe'alim, there's a Ben Ish Chai rule that if someone had no talit and he put on the tefillin in the meantime, when his talit is finally brought, he takes off the tefillin, puts on the talit, and then puts on the tefillin again. That's according to Ben Ish Chai. The Rishon LeZion, he disagreed. He says that according to Maran, it is certainly unnecessary to take off the tefillin in order to put on the talit. Furthermore, the Bet Yosef says, according to the Kabbalists of Spain, ruling that as long as someone is wearing the talit katan, so then he could put on the tefillin before the talit gadol. Therefore, meaning the talit katan is going to exempt you from this rule, and therefore it's going to be okay. Okay, what about the practical suggestion of Rav Tzion? Rav Tzion suggested that it's possible to follow the Shulchan Aruch ruling and yet not disobey the ruling of Rav Pe'alim. In case someone touched the tefillin pouch before putting on the talit, he should them both down. He should probably put them both down. It's a mistake there. He should probably put them both down, engage in some other activities, such as Torah study for a while, and then start over again, picking up the talit and then the tefillin. You understood? Basically, what he's trying to do is okay. Obviously, if they go to work, it doesn't really help, right? But Kilu, let's say you have the time and you could go to either this minyan or the next minyan. So what you do is you made the mistake Kilu. So you know what you do? Put it down, put them both down, start learning. After half an hour, now you come and you do the right one and you take it properly. Okay, that's his thing. The Lachabra found fault with this suggestion, citing the Turei Even, who taught that if we are not allowed to put aside one mitzvah in order to form a second mitzvah, we're certainly not allowed to put aside a mitzvah and engage in third activity, which is a mitzvah mundane act. Right? So he says in defense of the Or Letzion, it could be that this case is different. Here, the person is not turning away for no reason. It's just that he just doesn't want to get into a machlok between the poskim and the Kabbalah, and so on and so forth. So maybe it's not that bad, basically like, what the Or Letzion was trying to say. Right? That's what he's trying to, like to defend the Or Letzion. Okay, fine. Therefore, right, we're back on the top. Therefore, those who place the tefillin pouch inside the kuracha of the talit must take care that the position of the tefillin is on one side. Or if he wants to place the tefillin in front of the talit, it's likely that we're going to touch the tefillin first, as explained above. On the other hand, one should not place the tefillin underneath the talit, since the tefillin are far more sacred than a talit and deserve far more honor, even though the tefillin are in their own pouch. So one must not position the talit, them underneath the talit. Therefore, one should always place the tefillin to the side of the talit. Okay, either on the side or you could do like mine. Mine is at the end, so therefore, when you come and you open up the bag, the first thing that you have is the talit, because you take out the talit, and later on you have to go all the way to the end, and then you have to take out the thing. Or you could do it side by side. You understand? If you do it side by side, that's another one. On the other hand, one should not place the talit underneath the talit. The tefillin underneath the talit, since the tefillin are far more sacred than talit is more. Oh, okay, we just did that. Okay, number 8. This is the ruling of the Ben Ish Chai based on the Shulchan Aruch. Nowadays, it is common for people to have a separate pouch for the tefillin and a kuracha for the talit, and to place them both in a clear zippered nylon pouch with a tefillin in front nearest the zipper. Okay, so he said this seems to run counter Manan's ruling that one must not put the tefillin on the top of the talit and the kuracha, since one will have to reach over the tefillin to get the talit. Right? So he says it seems from the poskim, however, that as long as the person does not actually touch the tefillin pouch, he's not guilty of mavrin mitzvot, even though he reaches over the tefillin to reach the talit. In fact, according to the Hechal Avraham Bochach, if someone touches the tefillin pouch without touching the tefillin themselves, it's still okay. So here you have what to rely on, because basically it's until you actually touch mamash the tefillin. The truth is that it is likely that the Shulchan Aruch's warning not to place the tefillin on the top of the talit does not apply to the pouches we use. In earlier times, the pouches were narrow, and so the talit was deep inside the pouch, and the tefillin closed its opening. So to remove the talit, the person had to reach over the tefillin, and that was problematic, right? So he says the issue with the nylon pouches we use nowadays, you don't have that problem. You could reach over and there's no problem. The issue of Emavrim mitzvot applies as well to the mitzvah of Lechem Mishnah on Shabbat meals. Shulchan Aruch ruled on a Friday night one must hold the 2 loaves one on top of each other, right? While saying the beracha v'motzi, right? The poskim pointed out that if the person set aside the loaf after the beracha, he should be guilty of emavrim mitzvot. Some poskim reconciled this by saying that the rule applies when the 2 mitzvot are in conflict, but only one mitzvah is involved, and therefore the only question is which one do you want to do? One may choose either one. Because here that's like 2 different mitzvot, talit and tefillin, and 2 different mitzvot. Lechem mishneh, it's the same halacha, it's the same mitzvah. The Maran Nishol and ruled that whenever you're saying a bracha while holding 2 loaves of bread, one should hold the bottom bread closer to you than the top one. So therefore, it's em avinil mitzvot. Because remember, on Friday night, according to the halacha, you do the bottom one. On Shabbat morning, you do the top one. Right? So therefore, if you're doing the bottom one on Friday night, but em avinil mitzvot, then you have to move the top one to do the bottom one. No, but the bottom one's closer to you, so that's why that's the one that you're doing. According to the Kabbalah, it's side by side, and then you're always taking the right side. So there's no em avinim anyway. Okay, the Rishon LeZion though says you should hold it closer to you, and this way the bottom loaf is the first one that's going to be available to be eaten. According to this, we could do the same thing with the talit and tefillin nylon pouch. As long as the talit can be reached without passing over the hand of the tefillin, we are not going to be guilty of em avinim insult. What about a plastic canister with tefillin containers? A few decades ago, hard plastic canisters began to be sold as containers for tefillin, especially suitable for soldiers who need to carry their tefillin in the field while keeping them safe from damage. Later, they added a talit pouch, which is wound around the container and latched onto it. But how do you do it then? Those people who use these containers no issue with the principle of Mavrim Mitzvot, since the talit is available before they begin to remove the lid of the tefillin, meaning that it's already on the outside, so therefore there's not going to be any problem.